On Thursday, there seemed to be a different feeling on Mauna Kea here at Hale Pohaku, the site of the encampment of the self-proclaimed protectors on the mountain, as well as a special open house meeting organized by the Office of Mauna Kea Management.
Nothing I didn't expect.
Speaking from within Hale Okukia I Mauna, Lanakila Mankawil shared with supporters his take on the latest developments regarding the 30-meter telescope project. The construction of the $1.4 billion observatory on the northern plateau of the summit area has been on hold ever since 31 people were arrested for blocking TMT crews from using the road.
As far as I'm concerned, we're seeing this is the beginning of the end of the state's control over this mountain. This is the beginning of the end of Office of Mauna Kea Management's control over this mountain.
This issue is in litigation at this time, and the courts will ultimately have their say.
On Tuesday, Governor David Ige affirmed the telescope has the right to move forward.
TMT has the right to proceed with construction, and they may proceed as far as I'm concerned. And we will support and enforce their right to do so.
But it's still unclear when work might attempt to get underway. Here is what TMT board member, astronomer Dr. Michael Bolte said on Wednesday.
I don't know when construction will resume. The governor made his announcement, of course, and that doesn't mean the discussions end by any means. So we have no date from when we're going to do that. Like I said, clearly there's more discussion and conversations that have to happen.
On the same evening in Pepe'ekeo, cultural practitioner Havane Rios held her ground in opposition to the project.
We are infinite.
Rios and Bolte spoke as part of the Common Ground series being held in Hamakua.
Although Governor Ige has made his announcement, he made that out of fear, and I have compassion for him. I do. Because he doesn't know what he's doing, because he's fearful of the repercussions that may come from $1 billion corporation. But you cannot buy us off with $1 million a year. That's pennies. That's pennies. Oh, in 11 years. Oh, come on. Pennies. You're $1 billion corporation. If you really want to help us, then give us all that money that you were going to use to build the TMT and help us get our land back.
We know that they're planning on coming back. So we need to be prepared. For the past month or so, we haven't had any action, so we've allowed our numbers to come down and everything up here too. But now it's going to be really important that we communicate with our ohana, with our friends, our neighbors, to remind them and let them know that, the Mauna is going to be calling.
I do not doubt that they did more than any previous telescope project, to be a good neighbor.
Even at Kauai, after the governor's speech, could anyone else feel it? You could just feel it in the air. So much let down and energy.
Across from the Hale on Mauna Kea Thursday, an unusual open house, here in the buildings below the visitor center at 9,000 feet. The Office of Mauna Kea Management set up a space to talk story with the public, inviting those standing guard on the Mauna to come on over. Some accepted the offer cautiously. We spoke to Fritz Klasner, Office of Mauna Kea Management's Natural Resources Program Manager, about the genesis of the open house.
To talk about and share information about what the university and other partners on the mountain are doing in terms of protecting and monitoring and trying to understand the resources that we have here. So we have information about the invasive species program that the university has established, and the monitoring and the inspections that we do. We have some of the maps just to show the basic footprint of where the university has a responsibility and where forest reserve versus natural area reserve lands are. And the planning documents that guide all that.
I think what they're asking inside there, I'm hearing, is, how can we help? How can we do better on the Mauna? I think they need to go through a process where we sit them down and we ask them, what did you do wrong on the Mauna? Because if they can't even figure out what they did wrong, if they can't even acknowledge what they did or what they did not do, then we got the wrong people. Well, we already knew that. But that's the wrong people to take care of the Mauna.
We had been talking about doing something, just given the concern about Mauna Kea, but at the Mauna Kea Management Board meeting, there was a request for sharing more information. And there's this group of people that are up here on the mountain regularly. There've been open houses in Hilo. We've had things at Imiloa. We've had things in Waimea and in Kona in recent months, and we hadn't done anything up here. And this is where the university managed lands are at, and it seemed like a logical place to at least try it and see what kind of participation and engagement shows up. With the governor's recent press release, it sort of increased the profile of the event a little bit, at least, in the publicity for it. But that wasn't part of the plan. That was just a coincidental set of circumstances, I guess.
We have, in many ways, failed the mountain.
During his speech earlier this week, Governor David Ige was critical of the management of the mountain thus far.
We have not done right by a very special place, and we must act immediately to change that.
The responsibility falls to the University of Hawaii, which leases the summit land from the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
The University of Hawaii must do a better job in its stewardship of the mountain. If we are going to be a long-term partner and landlord with the University of Hawaii, we expect the university to do its part as well.
We agree that the university can and must do better, and we apologize for where our efforts have fallen short to date.
It's the Office of Mauna Kea Management that tries to carry out the actual work.
President Lasner came out with a press conference after it and said that the university would be coming out with more information about some of the details that the governor had spoken about. We'll defer to them.
Some with OMKM, speaking off camera, said they feel like the scapegoats in this situation. Meanwhile, the Aloha Aina protectors are gearing up for what's next. Lanakila and Havane, two of the spiritual leaders in the Kukia Mauna movement, will soon be off-island for a few weeks. They believe the opponents of the TMT can carry on in their absence.
There are many alaka'is that we have now that can kako'o and help to pali the Mauna and help to organize.